How's everybody doing? Alright, guys, it made it work. Finally got it to go. Sorry for this little setup here. I had to run down and get on the other computer just to set this live up. I don't know why. I set it up like 3 times, but it would not go. Alright. So, today, and for the past week or so, I've been having the water setting up its grid formations, and it's not even just its grid formation, but its grafting cycles, its rotation centers, and locations. It's been really nice. I noticed it maybe about 2 or 3 days ago with the clouds. I actually took a picture. I didn't upload it yet. I wanted to upload it and show you what's going on over here. But there's all kinds of new planet systems coming in, star systems coming in, and they were just setting up its grounds and its water. It had new grounds for its water, but it was really neat. It was like, I think I got the picture. They were getting supported by the angelics and the ascended masters and such in setting up the water, so that was really cool. And you could just tell by the cloud formations, the atmosphere and the water continuum. Sorry, guys, I'm totally ready. I woke up at like 9:45, and I usually go live at 10 too. So Sundays, I might have to. I think I mentioned it before. I might change Sunday around a little bit, but anyways. Hi, my name is Michael Rolla. For those of you who don't know, I'm a spiritual medium and channel, and ascension guide, life coach, person like that. I like ascension guide. I think that's the most appropriate way of putting it. But this is what I wanted to talk about is, there's a lot of this stuff coming. So I titled this one "Calling All Badasses," right? Because what is a badass? It's ego, right? It's we've all grown up with it, and that's why I wanted to, I titled this, was it Programs in the Coming Age with Melchizadek. Melchizadek popped in, just real quick. I said, a lot of times I'm writing things out, or I'm transcribing my notes because they're usually on my phone, and I'm writing them down so that I can see them now and make sure I'll usually ask who wants to come in and does anybody want to talk, and sometimes I'm already talking about something, I already know who's with me, but a lot of times, and anytime you just ask, any of us can do this. You just ask and they'll show up, but you got to figure out who it is. And Melchizedek, I've done some work with, and we do Pillar of Light installations for people and stuff. Melchizedek popped in. He's the high priest. He's always been like an ascended, high priest. So it was neat because, sometimes you wonder, like, if we're talking about, saving the world, it's going to be Archangel Michael. If we're going to talk about humanity, it's going to be Jesus. If we're going to talk about, and for the most part it is. But there's also, like, all of them want to talk about all of it. So, it's fun when you get different beings for different things, and they sort of have a different take, like, Raphael's going to talk about, the dimensional earth and the healing of it, a lot more, even though everyone's talking about healing of it, it's all going to be different, so it's really neat when they come in. So I'll see what he has to say. He's kind of already pouring it in on me, but he's going to talk about the new coming age and whatnot, and so the reason why I called it, Calling All Badasses, and it's funny because I mentioned to William once, hey William, if you see this, that it was like why do I want to make this video? Like, I was just starting a medium and channeling, and I was just starting to translate messages and work with people and do all this stuff, and I was just like, why would I get this one? And it makes total sense. I know that I would get it, and I know exactly why. It's because, no matter who you are, no matter how big your ego is, no matter what's going on, it's like, I'm not impressed, and I think the best way to explain this is to go with my example. It's like I've always said that, like what, you scored points in a game, like, you look cool, you got your James Dean going on, or whatever. You slicking back here, you got your greaser going, what is it? I'm thinking of grease now, I mean, and that's great, and I think that's really important because that's what defines us. That's where we play. Like, it's like any girl who likes to dress up, it's like, that's cool. Like, you should, like, yeah, okay, guy might not want to do it, but it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be enjoying it. We're supposed to be, kids. I'm Batman, right? They don't have egos about it though. They don't have, they might get upset if you challenge them because they're trying to play and they want to play with you and they want you to play with them. So and you just look at things like this. So that's really what I wanted to talk about is the programs. Look at the way we're looking at everything. Look at the way things are affecting you. There's everyone's arguing, when I see the world, it's everyone's arguing and yelling at everyone else, and no one's just fixing the problem. It's like I always use the water, shortage example. We don't have a problem with like the earth, right? The earth. So I think I wrote that down. Yeah, we don't have earth problems, we have infrastructure problems. It's ridiculous to say that we, who print all the money, can't figure out how to have enough money, right? So that's why I wanted to talk about programs and then just the calling all badasses, right? Because of the arguing, it's like everyone is just arguing their posture. Everyone's just like getting ego, getting upset. It's for me, being a guy, it's like I've seen it my whole life. All of us have, right? And that's my point. Is it's like, it's the program. It's still running. Let me see here. I said, one day we're all going to wake up and realize the hippies had it right all along. Like, I don't care what you call a hippie. I don't care what you define them as or what they do or what they don't do. It's like how people look at homeless. We look at homeless people and, ooh, they're, smelly or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but guess what? They're going to survive. You're not going to survive. As soon as your thing breaks down that was supporting you and you can't live your life, guess who's going to survive? When the nuke hits, it's going to be cockroaches. It's going to be certain retail stores, and then it's going to be homeless people, right? Because they already know how to survive. They already know where the bunker's at because they stumbled upon it when they were just out and about. You know what I mean? But you don't have enough to build your own bunker yet, so you're just getting wiped away in your apartment complex or something. I mean, I don't know. It's a bad example, but it's it's this idea that because someone is like what's wrong with it? What's wrong with a hippie? What's wrong with a homeless person? Trust me, I'm positive the homeless guy ain't the reason why we're at war, why we're at doing all this stuff in the world. Group of hippies singing Kumbaya. I was talking this on a podcast. I started recording some audio and I got an Anchor FM thing going. So I haven't done an episode yet, but I uploaded some stuff, so that's gonna be fun. But the guy singing Kumbaya, the group of people sitting in the forest by the campfire singing Kumbaya, it's like the ego person, the Mr. Oh, look at those weirdos, and look at in reality, it's like they're not causing any problems. They're just sitting in the forest. We got to start, the programs, like the labels, the judgments, the stereotypes, we have to get over that, but you have to get over yourself because if you're still ego or personified, then you're going to have a lot of those issues, like within yourself. So you're going to see a nerd, a skinny guy with glasses and think that he's a nerd all the time. You know what I mean? You're going to see it's the programs that are in our minds and that we're, and this is what's coming in the new age. All that's being taken down, the veil's being removed, right? And that's why, stuff I'm talking about all the time, it's like we got to get over ourselves, like no one cares. I don't care how many points you scored. I don't care how hot you are. You know what I mean? I don't care, I don't care how much stuff you have, how many cars, what it looks like, what color it was, how if you got an extra inch on your rims, don't care, still don't care, and then we wonder why the world is the way that it is. It's like, well, look at the stuff that you're focused on. Look at everything you care about. We all know it's BS. We all know it's superficial, right? Because all of us that are, working a 9 to 5, or anyone working a job or anything, none of us are, well, I don't say none of us, hopefully you found one that you love to go to all the time, right? But even then, 40 hours a week, whatever, full time, 80 hours a week, some people 60, for some of the, like, it's like you'd still want to not do it that much, even if you liked it, so there's still a level of like having to do stuff so that we can have other stuff, so we can survive, right? So what is the important piece? The takeaway is the end result. It's this, we're going to work so that our kids are taken care of, and our spouse or whoever, our home is, so we're taken care of, that's why we're doing these things. So if we start to focus and change into what is it that we really need, we're going to change it around, because we don't need the government in order to like build a house and then have land. Like we never needed them, and there's all this, like everyone, all the time, just arguing about politics, arguing. Listen, how about we just like ignore them, let them go over there, pay your taxes, do whatever you gotta do, just let them go over there, tell them no anytime they ask a question, and then just focus on us, like focus on me, getting some land, me, you, all of us, dude, we could all get some land, build a nice community center. Like there's so many things as people that we can do, but we have to get over ourselves. You got to get over your persona. Stop trying to look for like friends based off of like some high school criteria, like yes, you want to find people who like things like the same things that you do. Yeah, obviously, you have to get along with someone and agree on a lot of things if you're going to want to spend time with each other, but it doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that, and this is where the arguments come in, it's too much fighting, too much, with the wars and stuff. It's like there's a war on everything. So it's saying in my last video, there's a war on poverty, there's a war on hunger, there's a war on drugs. Guess what? It's all still here. So again, what is the problem? We have an infrastructure problem. We don't have a war problem, and we got plenty of them. Well, it's a problem that we have so many, but it's like, we don't, that's not doing it, guys. Like the war on whatever. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I don't care. Next. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to solve? How much are you? Oh, we're going to do, I don't care. Is it helping? Because the reality is we have all the technology. I always use the water drought, It's the most hilarious example. And if you can't see that, like, I don't know, we're going to lose. Like, we're like, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to argue. I'm just trying to say, like, Like, so what I mean is the programs. It's like you believe that, like, does anybody seriously think that we're lacking in water on this planet? Like, there's not enough water, And then you get the expert, right? Because now you're going to jump into the brain, and now you're going to try and convince me on the narrative of that, right? And say, well, no, it's the fresh water. It comes down from the mountains, and we don't have the mountain peaks as long as it's, I thought it was all melting, so shouldn't we be having all this extra fresh water? But again, it's filtration system, guys. That's all we need to do. It's not hard. Yeah, sure, I agree. We don't have as much fresh water coming down. That's because, look at the ocean. There's a load of water already landed. Like, we just have to treat it, and we'll be fine. Water for everyone. It's not hard to do. And that's the thing, too. It's like, the program, it's like money, the dollar, the fiat, it's like, I've said this a million times, and some people get it, some people don't. If the Federal Reserve, whoever prints the money, gives you $1 and then says, I want $1.10 back because I'm going to charge you interest. Listen, I don't have 10 cents, so here you can have $1 back. I don't know why you even gave it to me in the first place. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't work. It's literally set up to fail. It's like the debt. How many decades are we going to keep talking about the debt? Like, it's never going to be paid off, guys. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Pay attention. Why? Because it's inflationary money. The only people printing the money are asking for more of it back. So it's all a leverage system, right? So it's all about owing. Like, it literally can't work unless somebody owes money. Like, there has to be debt in order for us to even function using a dollar. Like the whole system, it was born into debt. Like the second the first dollar was printed, and then they said, I want interest for loaning this to you. Okay, well, you didn't print it. You didn't print it anymore, so this is all we got. You know what I mean? Like there's too many programs that are just running in people. Like it's like the mask fiasco that's going on now, you know, where it's like it literally says on the boxes, does not protect from viral contamination, but everyone like thinks that you're safe, so it's like slow the spread because we're all going to get it and we can't stop it. Okay, hurry and make a vaccine so we can inject it to ourselves so we can get it slowly from stopping this spread, you know. And then it's like, and then, you know, the viral, they say the wet, you know, spit lands on the mask, right? And as soon as you exhale, the virus goes right through it. Like it still goes through it. It doesn't stay in the water, in your saliva. It doesn't just stay in there. On your next exhale, you blow it right through the mask. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny, you know, like, and again, I'm not trying to argue, like, is it real? Is it not real? You know, is it this or that, you know? But it's like, we're all mental, and we're wondering why the world looks crazy. You know, it's like, we need to get back to the fundamentals and get out of the programmings and start asking the questions why. You know, it's like, you know, like, why are we wearing masks that don't protect from viral contaminations, but we're all being told, you know, like that it's going to protect us, you know? And it's like it's just that, it's that thinking. It's that, because what happens is the fear hits first. You know, the fear says, oh, all these people got this thing and then they all started to die. Oh no, what can we do, right? So you see it on the news or you hear it and they say, oh, outbreak, blah, 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 blah. Here's what you can do to slow it and stop it, right? So now all the germaphobes are already hooked, you know, then anyone in the healthcare industry already hooked, you know, like right away. And they're going to do all the things just to prevent it first and foremost, and then it's going to argue around that, you know. Whereas then anyone who steps back and then looks at it and goes like, wait a minute, you know, like we got public health emergencies in counties that have 4 deaths. That's not a health emergency. Like, it's not by any definition. Like, it's got 4, you know. And again, you know, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I was laughing because I think I posted on my Facebook. I said, you know, I think the most telltale sign of it all is that there was actually 2 like labs that were illegally working on it, 2 of them, and then they both had outbreaks, like really, like synchronized viral droppage, like, you know, they broke them at the same, like there's a little, you know, telltale sign there, guys. Like, but in any case, you know, well, yeah, they were in a viral lab, they dropped something, there was an outbreak, and a bunch of people died. That's what I would have assumed would have happened, right? You should probably be more careful, you know. But, you know, this idea that now, like, it's everywhere, you know, and it's really not, you know, like, you know, and especially in the beginning when they were trying to make the vaccine, and they didn't have the ACTG, so they didn't even have the profile code for it. I think what else is out there on it? The RT-PCR tests. The guy who literally made the tests himself said, this should not be used for diagnosing viral infections. So the guy who literally made the test said, we probably shouldn't use it for what they're using it for. You know, there's a lot of really weird stuff. And then I know that they amplify it. I think, like, they can take a swab of one nostril, swab the other one. They can amplify one and not amplify the other. So the one that's amplified is going to obviously show that you have it, and then the one that's not is not. So it's like, so wait a minute. So you're taking my swab and then you're amplifying it? How about you don't amplify nothing, and then you let it be, and then it comes back negative? Like, why are you amplifying anything? Like, I don't think anybody should be going in for tests, not until they actually know how to test for this. You know, but again, there's a lot of weird stuff. You know, it's like 9/11 and the other tower that fell, or whatever, building 7. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I mean, luckily there's enough common sensors out there, I think, that, you know, at least people saw that and went, wait a minute, you know, like, at least, you know. But yeah, it's really, you know, And the thing is, it's like I say, we just keep arguing. We just keep arguing with each other. And the reality is, I've said this multiple times, is we all want the same, we all want better for ourselves. We all know it. Like, everyone knows they're connected to spirit. You know what I mean? Everyone knows, that there's like more to life, than just this stuff. But we keep doing this stuff, we're not focused on the love, right? We have to bring back the love, and that's what's coming. That's the new age, and all the veils are being removed, and everyone's going to be able to see it. But you have to be able to see yourself, So, I talk about that. You got to get over yourself, go past yourself. But then you have to see yourself for who you are and why you're here, and what it is that you came to do and why you are the way you are, So and then it just opens up, because then you realize why other people are here. You realize, like, we're all one big family. We're all trying to, like, make this place better for all of us, yourselves and ourselves included. It's a really awesome thing. So let me see. Yeah, so, it's not about the game. We all know that we're playing the game, so that we can have the important stuff at home, right? So if we focus on the important stuff at home and stop playing the game will go away, and we'll still have food and shelter, and all these things. So, it's, the problem isn't, it isn't this lack, we got to get out of the scarcity. Remember that? It's an old one, that, fear and scarcity, a lack mentality. There is no lack. There's plenty here for you. For one person on this earth, there's more than enough. And I think they did they figured out that that I think the earth can hold, like, still way more, like, I think like 11 billion people or something like that on it, and then we would all still have, like, acres of land for us, like, even with that, like, if we all spread out properly on the land. So, there's plenty here, there's plenty. We have technology. We can build bridges. We can build cities that float. I mean, like, have you seen some of that stuff? They got, like, crazy stuff out there, so so, like, water shortage? No, there's no shortage. It's the infrastructure problem. It's the fact that we need to spend the money and the time on these things. Poverty could be eliminated instantly. Ramen noodles for the whole world. 10 cents, 20 cents a meal. Like, it's easy. It's easy to feed everyone in the world. And again, that might not be the most savory of meals all the time, nutritious, right? We're gonna get more, better, right? But so go plant some trees. Why can't we? Because we got all these rules. We got all these people or whatever in power who are, you can't plant this tree and you can't plant that tree and you can't grow crops on your own land. You can't do this, you can't do that. The problem isn't that the earth is just lacking. The earth has plenty for all of us. We have a people problem, and we all know that. Like, we all know it, we all feel it, we all see it in people, but we got to stop arguing and yelling at each other about it. We got to come find the solutions, because, it's like politics every year. It doesn't matter if it's, it kicks up during election years, sure. But it's just like, it's everyone just trashing everyone else. Like, no one's even, like, are we even trying to solve these problems? Like, I stopped listening to, I've never had to listen to a politician, and I've lived my entire life, right? I mean, it's like, but we do what we can, we gotta, because I want a great world. I want a great country. I want a great world. I want us all to be having a great time, right? And I think we all want that too. And we all know all you need is love. Like, as I say, we're going to come back to realizing the hippies were right. The guy in the forest singing Kumbaya, he ain't causing the problem. It's the guy with the Mr. Ambition who needs to be productive and needs to make something of himself because his parents, his overbearing parents, or his, like, you don't want to be a loser, and all this. It's all just pressure, it's all just, it's unnecessary. It's not free living. It's not go away and I'm going to live how I want to live. We're not letting our children do that. We're forcing them to do things that they don't want to do, and then we're saying, "Oh well, get used to it." No, back that. What? What do we do? We don't want. We wonder why it is like this. Look what we're doing, and yeah, sure, I get it. There's a level of that, right? And we all know that, but don't encourage that to be an okay thing, you know. Like, no, like, you got to do what you got to do to survive, kiddo. But, you know, yeah, don't keep your wits about you. Don't buy into the system. You know, do it so you have a good life. You know. What was I saying? I wanted to go somewhere with that. That was getting good on one of those levels. You know. The kumbaya guys, like, we're going to realize the hippies were right, you know, because they're not causing any problems. They're not, you know, they're just trying to live and love and, you know, bring it back to all of that. But, you know, the infrastructure thing, you know, it's people. It's not like we have more than enough for everything. We literally make the money ourselves, and we're in debt that we can't, like, there isn't something floating out in the, you know, wherever, that is just like, oh, this is the debt. Oh, what do we do with that? Oh, I don't know if we can. Oh, how did it get there? We made it. Oh, well, I guess there's just nothing else we can do. You know, it's like, you know, no, like, the programs in the mind, we gotta start asking questions. You know, you gotta start, you know, you take yourself out of your own self and then see yourself and how it adds to the whole world, you know. So it's, you know, and we all know it. Like, that's what I mean, when you know, when you talk one-on-one with people, you know, we can all get deep like this. We all care about stuff like this. You know, we all want a better world. We all want more, you know, luxury, or, you know, or just safety, security, you know, more, you know, income in most cases, right? Because that's where they get you. You know, and you know, and we all know it, you know, and we all know it, and we need to start treating each other, and, you know, like we know it. We need to start reminding each other that we know it. You know, I think I said in my video, hey Nicole, yeah, totally hopping on. Kind of last minute. I woke up about 15 minutes before 10, so I had to rush and get this going. It took me a while to get the stream up too, but, you know, it's like, what was I saying? You know, like we all want the better life. We all want it, you know, and we're too busy, like, yelling at a program or a system or a thing, you know, like the debt. Oh, we got to figure out how we fix the debt, you know. And it's like, well, how did it start? Like, just go back to how we got here in the first place. Like, it doesn't just drop off, you know. It's like our history, you know. There's just huge gaps, like, in our history, you know, that, like, don't really, you know. It's like there's no gap. There really isn't. It was a consistent thing that has continually been going forward, you know. And I said it. I was talking to somebody, you know, at work, and mentioned it to them too. Is, you know, for every genius that we think we have, and, you know, or whatever, like, they have, you know, the controllers, whatever, you know, they have 20 of them on their payroll, you know, already planning all this stuff out, you know. So people see, you know, and that's why I say you got to take yourself out and look at the big picture, you know, like, even in life events, you know. So the false flags and these flags and those flags, whatever, you know, it's like, you know, they're already been thought about. You know, every time something happens and people, we all, like, freak out or we react, you know, in the world, and we see something on the news and go, oh my God, and it's like they were already planning this, like, so many times, like, you know, for the longest time, you know. It's all already been planned and talked about and decided before we see anything in the human, or, you know, the people level, right, the citizen level, you know. It's already been talked about for years, or you know, worked on, or set into position, or set into, you know. So we see these things in the world and we think, like, oh my gosh, this just happened for the first time ever. No, not at all. Why do you think you look at life and you say, oh yeah, been there, done that, even if maybe you haven't, right? There's so many old souls, right? So what are we doing? It's Groundhog's Day. We're still doing it, guys. You know, something's got to give. Something's got to change. And that's what's changing, is the veils are thinning. Because the energy is too high-rise. Because anything that spins faster is going to suck up the momentum of anything that's lower, right? And this is the meaning behind love always wins, God always wins, you know, benevolence always wins, because it's just a higher vibration. Because when it's a higher vibration, it can absorb, it can understand anything of a lower vibration and bring it up into its realm, So nothing, so again, nothing lower vibrational is going to affect you. So yeah, so let's see if Melchizedek wants to. Did I do all my notes? Oh yeah, and I did another one too. I had a cool insight. It's funny watching myself make these videos and how sort of like I'm slowly, developing like how I'm going to talk, what I'm going to talk about, really kind of stepping into the whole community. What people are already doing. Like what, it's it's this cool thing. And it's neat to see how even though it's slowly progressing, and even for a lot of us, it's still kind of, we're all coming out, we're out more, it's slowly progressing, but it's funny to me because, how it took so long, and it took removing the layers, of the doubt and the stress, or the, that old mentality, that old world mentality, and to realize like, it's all already here. But then at the same time, then you look back, and then it's like we're still extremely early to this. What did I write? Oh, and it's funny because like for me, like I feel like like I've been watching Groundhog's Day my whole life. Like it's been the same. Like no matter how much I've talked to people, it's like maybe every now and then, like like there's some of us, then we meet, and then it's like we just we talk about coolest conversations ever, and then you just go our separate ways, right? Because a lot of us are positioned in our grid work, But it's funny because like I've always been so far gone. Like that it's funny to come out and to talk about these things, and to see myself slowly doing it, even though I've already been like way past slowly doing it. Like I've already, and I think that's the case for most of us, because it's like we've been having these communications on the spiritual level our whole lives, but then it's like, so it's completely normal to us, but then it's like when we're coming out, it's like we're still slowly saying it. And then you can notice how the world is going to react to it. So when you notice that, we're still really early, in this whole awakening with everyone. It's why Spirit always says, we're going to need more light workers. We're going to need more. I always laugh because that's how I always interpret it. Just like, we don't have enough. Yeah, I know we don't have enough. And we do, but the more the merrier. So good practicing, good, Nicole. Yeah, you got to make time for that practice, even if it's just a reconnection. You got to make time. Whenever you can. I'll come home from work and I'll just go lay in the grass or something. Or whatever it is. Just 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. And then let's see. Yeah. So really the programs. The ego. Calling all badasses, and that's what I wanted to talk about too. I really wanted to get into that, calling all badasses, because like, so I think of like a biker guy, right, or whatever, and you think of how they look. They got the beard, stocky, perhaps, doesn't take no nothing from nobody, right, and on the surface, it's a scary dude, but underneath it all, he's a big old teddy bear, right? So it's and that's the point that it's like the ego, the persona, and like I said, we should all have that because it's fun to play with. Like I said, like girls who like to dress up, and like we should be doing that, or kids, Batman, like we should be doing these things to play. That's why we came here. It's the fun of expressing, so be a badass biker, dude. It's great, you know what I mean? But it's when we start like, it's when with the wars and the gangs and like everything is so simple to like fix it all, to heal it all, to love it all, because it just starts with love. And I said this in my one video I recorded, like when the reason why this stuff is hard to talk about is because there's always someone who's doing that. There's always the macho guy or the one who just doesn't believe it, and they're so into reality, and whatever, which, and that's a scary thing within itself too, because if you consider yourself a realist, well then what exactly are you a realist of? Have you had spiritual connections? Because by definition, you're just going to look at the world and say, this is the real world, So if you're a realist, that's great, but you don't want to become a cynical realist. You don't want to become, like I love some sarcasm, but I like to keep it there, and irony, there's plenty of it, but it's this like, it's switching from, and I've said before, like the having to know everything in the human brain and having it all have to make sense versus like infinity as a child, whereas a child doesn't have to explain to you like how he calculated things and how okay, here's my badge of Batman proof. I am Batman. See, it says right here, I got a certificate. I am Batman. No, the kid's already there. Boom, right? Infinite imagination, free spirit, no limitation, and that's why it's hard to see, so from a realist perspective, or from, or even scientists. I talk about scientists. They do that a lot too, science. But what is science? It's the study of spirituality, right? Because the spirit realm comes first, and then it's all, what we create with energy, with, mass, and, all that stuff. Let me catch up here. Oh, I went over, or my key thing is saying it's busted. Hopefully I can see you guys' messages now. Oh, that was early. That was only 35 minutes. Oh, YouTube likes me. Parked yesterday and the wind just blew my That I love it when the earth, like nature just like talks to you. Hey, Anna. Hi. Nice to see you. Yeah, I was talking, maybe Sundays. Oh, look, I can't scroll up. Yeah, I think it goes wonky right now, but I'm still live, so I'm just going to keep talking. Yeah, I might have to change or something my time. Sundays are kind of my day to sleep in, even though I got to do some work too still on Sundays. So we'll see. A lot of changing, lots of changes. But yeah, it's like, it's the badass, calling all badasses. It's like, I don't care how cool you think you are. And again, it doesn't mean I don't want to play with you in that. It doesn't mean that, if you go, like that, look, I'm not going to laugh and I'm not going to do one too with you. But there's that, the only time there's that layer, the only time the ego becomes like this bad thing is when it feels threatened, and then it feels like, you can't play and you can't be this person that you came here to be, because who you want to be is who you should want to be, ego or no ego. You should want to be it. That's the desire, and we shouldn't be, I think I said it, I don't know what I was saying, but, we all have desires and those are good. You should have a desire. Source had a desire to experience itself. So it did something, it's desire, wanting to do things is okay, wanting to be, something, to embody James Dean, or Elvis, or Wayne, John Wayne, it's just fun. Like, look, I got chills. Look at, like as a guy, right? Like, I get it as a guy, walking off into the sunset. You kidding me? It's epic. It's epic, right? But you play, you have fun. You don't, and then it's fun, and you let it go. You don't like. It's just, there's ego. And then there's personality, and we all have one. And we shouldn't be like hating on it. But in order to understand the spiritual aspect of it, you have to, like I said earlier, you have to see it, and you have to see how it interacts in your life and see who you are and how you fit in, So there's going beyond like yourself as your human and getting into your higher self and the spirits and with the angels and the higher realms. And then there's seeing who you are from there, and then realizing like, okay, so this is why my human does this, or reacts this way, or this is why I put myself into that, and then it's all just growing and evolving, but your ego isn't going to let you, being badass for who, for what? You're only doing it for yourself, you're doing it because of a program that's up in here that you think you need to run it. Because you think it's your security, it's your identity, it's so many things, but there's nothing more fun than when you're vulnerable and you break down the ego and you allow yourself to feel again. That's a big step. For the ego. I'm not. It's weird. I can't scroll up. I only see 4 messages. Anna's hi. Michael is the last one. So, yeah. Oh man, I gotta get a new. Maybe it's the streaming software. That might be what it is. Excuse me. So yeah. Let's see. So the New Age. Yeah, Melchizedek. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So Melchizedek. Okay. When I was on my path, in my incarnations, I ran into something very similar to what this one is saying with the ego in many people, that I was here to help and here to heal. There's a layer of foundation that is important, that I would establish within each person that I try to help. It is this foundation that is missing in many of you. It is the foundation of who you truly are, and that you've been lied to about who you truly are for such a long time. The truth is in the saying that man was created in God's image. The more accurate truth is man is God, just not in its current form. So the truth is that you are all very, very, very important. And I was just talking yesterday, this one with somebody, if you don't think you're important, I said it in a video, if you don't think you're important, I can go find somebody who would love to steal your energy, your time, your effort, you know what I mean? Like, you're important. You're even if you don't think you are, someone thinks you are. Okay. And this is why it is important to decide what you must do and where you must go for you. Because when you are empowered, you have more power to give to others. This is the leading by example. Instead of trying to change what already is, change yourself from within and relocate your center. Relocate your connections into what is important. Like this one said in the beginning with, is it the superficial game that we're all playing, that we want to be playing, or are we only playing it for another reason? Focus on the other reason and figure out how to sustain that reason without playing a game. No one wants to play games, so let's stop playing games. Go plant a tree. Go up to your neighbor, say, hey, I have some apple seeds. Would you like an apple tree in your backyard? Plant one. We need to just start doing it. They're not going to lock up everyone for planting an apple tree. It might not be easy at first. We might get some resistance, but there's a difference between letting your life be run for you and being the one who runs it. It is much more delectably satisfying when you run your own life. Even if it's more responsibility, even if it's more satisfaction, it's more fulfillment, it's more freedom, it's more, instead of saying, just give me my stuff and leave me alone, and hiding away in all of our homes. We've been doing this for too long. Like viruses, they die from heat, but we're all told to stay inside. But come here so you can get the vaccine. Oh, okay. Well, I could have just gone outside. I would have took care of everything. So it's kind of funny. But thinking, it's all up here. It's all up here, guys. It's all up here. Melchizedek. Okay, keep going. He's not done. The foundation that I established was the core belief structure in spirituality, in magic, in empowerment, and in love, and in faith. Most humans have lost faith and hope. Without these things, whether they're realistic or not, without them, it's not better than with them. And I was saying at one point, I was like, well, hope, that's all we got. We got nothing else. We got to They say don't lose hope. Well, okay. I mean, it's all I've ever had. I'm not asking for hope. I'm asking for like a relax from hope, like a relief from having to hope. So it's funny. So I crack up with Spirit all the time. But that faith is crucial, because if you don't think it can happen, then it never will. Right? And so it starts on the first layer of each human: belief. Thank you. That was really powerful. Belief. It ain't never going to be fixed if everyone just goes around being a realist. Everyone just goes around listening to what someone says or what they heard on the thing, and you don't ask questions. We don't start talking about things. It's like talking about this stuff. I talk to people. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, we can't, I don't want to say this," or we got to be careful, or kind of talk down or lower. And I think I made that reference too when I was a bank teller, and we were talking about like religious stuff, and then once we had like one customer, and then they ended up walking out, I guess, and then our supervisor, comes up, don't talk about that stuff here at work. You can't talk about religious stuff, and it's just like, why? Like, no wonder why it's all being complicated. No wonder why we're not getting anywhere. It's because nobody's talking about religion. Like, going around saying the Crusades, making people believe in Christianity and killing them if they didn't, that's a problem. And we need to talk about it. Like, I'm not trying to, like, make things worse. I'm not trying to say this, say that. But we need to start talking about stuff like this, And we all, and this is what I say what I mean when I say we all know it. We all know it. Like, whether you've been a conspiracy guy for decades, or you're a new age kid who you see things the way I've always seen them, like, that ain't right. That doesn't make any sense. Is this real life? Like, there's going to be a lot of us that are saying that. And there already are a lot of us who are saying that, And so whether, it's like, whatever ego level you're on, whether you're macho or you're uptight or you're stuck up or you're it's like it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just the game. That's just the clothes. It's just the dress, which underneath we're all naked, underneath it all. And that's what we're trying to heal. Like, even a superficial person who's trying to make themselves feel better, the feeling better is a core feeling. It's a core fundamental foundational feeling within all of us that we're trying to do. But if you haven't realized that, going out and partying or whatever, like, it's only temporary, well, that's okay. So focus. We got to bring it back. We got to, and it's that reality, that like if we don't do this A or B, it's not going to be a fun night, or macho or not macho, if we don't do this certain thing, this is what we do, this is who I am, and it's like, okay, well, why don't we do all kinds of other things too? Why it's narrowly defining yourself into a box, when you're, with an ego, with the, with it has to be this way, it has to be that way, this is the only way it could be, this is the only way, anything works, like that's, oh my goodness, like that's the every, everybody been there, done that, yeah, okay, well, listen, we're all saying that, like, everyone has been there and has done that, so now what? Like, I grew up, my mom would always say that, been there, done that, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, so now what? Like, like, as a kid, which, you don't want to mouth off too much, but that was my back of my head, right? Me and Mom we're vocal, we're very vocal, so, and that's good, because there's healing, we might go at it, but there's healing, because why? Because we're talking about it, that's what family's about. Talking it all out, getting mad, getting upset, yes, extremely, in some cases, sure, right? But figuring it out, still being there, like, still being there for each other, that's, and why? Because we have all this trauma, we have all this old mentality that we have to purge out of our system, this old way of looking at the world. It's like when I get frustrated, and it's frustration, I say, obviously it's not working, blah, 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 and it's like, okay, right, but what are we going to do now? You know what I mean? Like, been there, done that. Okay, that's great. So are we going to keep going, or are we going to just act like we figured it all out, even though it's not solved? It's like, it's being solution oriented, and it's really standing in that and knowing your place and who you are and what you're here to do, and just not allowing other things to really interfere. The game, the superficiality, because that's what I'm saying is we all want this stuff. We all want to feel better. We all want a better world. And I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's really simple. It's all right in front of our eyes, and we all know it. We all know what would make us feel happy. We all know what would make, and 9 times out of 10, what would make you feel happy is probably going to make me feel pretty good too. Even if it's not on my list, it's probably not going to be too bad for all of us. So, yeah, it's just the humanity. We got to bring it back. The coming of the age is coming, right? Because the energy is here. It's being transmuted, and more talking about this is what's going to happen, right? More and more. Yeah. Because these are the things that need to be said. Like I've talked about, this one has talked about, in relationships, they always say, don't talk about marriage and don't talk about your truly core belief systems in the beginning of the relationship. Wait until way later and then tell them that you don't ever want kids. And she's just going to be like, what? Like, okay, I'm going to go home now, I guess. Take all my stuff back. Like, you don't want to tell. We need to start talking. We need to get over ourselves, and get over it. I mean, I've been saying my whole life, that's why I'm a blabber. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid to blab. I think I said that in my little podcast thing I'm starting that recording is, to me, what I envision in the world is the world where, we're all it's like a pub. We all just had some drinks. We don't really care that much anymore. A little bit of inhibitions are down, whatever that is. You can call it, had a couple shots, and we're just yelling at each other, and not yelling angrily, or it is, right? But then there's 20 people at the pub that are not going to let you guys get into it, because we're all, you have a couple drinks, you're at a pub, we all start to become family. Like, that's what happens, and it's a great time. It's a great connection. That's a great, and that's how we should be talking, like we should just be talking with each other. And then end of the night, we all go home, we're all hungover, or not, you know what I mean? And then we go on with our lives, that's all that it is. There's no reason to be getting so upset about everything. We're too busy arguing with each other, and not just figuring out, not noticing how similar we all are. It's like if we're all arguing, it's all the same thing, like, because we're all arguing, what are we all arguing for? We all want a better world. Okay, let's start to make the world better. Stop arguing, stop trying. Like, if you think by killing somebody is going to make the world a better place, I hate to break it to you, but no. Let's just put it that way. It's not rocket science. We don't need to keep going to war in order to fix everything. Clearly it's not working. Is anybody paying attention? Like, seriously, that was what I'm going to be saying that a lot. Because to me, it's obvious as all get out. And to many of us, yous out there, it's all obvious too. But we're not talking about it. And that's why it doesn't feel like it's real. It doesn't feel like love is here, because nobody's talking about love. And I said this in my thing too. It's because we don't think we're going to be met with love. And that's the problem. When you have something to say, even if you're venting, even if you're anything, like, who's the best listener? The shoulder to cry on is the best listener, right? Doesn't matter what's going on in your life, it's like, that's ego, like, oh, I don't want to listen, you got problems, or like, oh, this guy, it's like, that's ego. Like, you've been there too. Stop lying, stop lying. That's huge. Stop lying to yourself, and then maybe you'll stop lying to others. But, come together. When you got something to say, I want to hear it. I want to hear it, and I want you to know it's going to be met with love, right? I'm going to listen to what is said first, and not just throw you in a cage right away, or punch you, or beat you up, or kill you because we don't agree. Like there was that meme, Leonardo DiCaprio with the toast, and I think it said, here's to all the people who disagree with me. Cheers, that we're all adults and we can still talk about this stuff. And I totally butchered that, but it really is. It's like we're all these tough love people who've been through all this trauma and tough love. We've been through all these wars, and we're all these hard ass badasses, right? But then everyone's like got masks on that isn't protecting them. Everyone, and I don't know, it's the example for right now. It's like no one is really, we're all badasses and we all stand for what we believe in, but not really, like, and I'm not saying not really, but it's tough because we're so into the system, like, and dependent and reliant on it, that it's hard to, like, yeah, sure, talk about your job all you want, but you're going to go to work on Monday, like, because you want to survive, so how do we change that? Well, you don't get mad at it and start yelling at it and make it, the focus and the center. You figure out what else you can do, what instead you can do, instead of, and that's the idea, you're feeding more energy into something that you don't even want to have energy, because you don't want it to be alive. So just take the energy out, whether you're mad or you're happy, whatever you're focused on is what you create more of. So it's like, yeah, what was I saying? I looked at the time like, oh, this is going to be a long one that I'm going to get into, and I totally forgot where it was, or whatever it was. Yeah, the love, bringing the love back. That's what we're doing. But we have to be it. That's being the light, shining the light for each other, leading by example. That's what we have to do. We have to be the example again. I want you to know that no matter what you come up to me and say, I'm going to love you for it, because it's whatever you're going through. How, like, you run into that in high school where, the cool kids, don't even acknowledge that the nerdy kid was trying to, that just spoke to them, and they just ignore it, like, completely. Oh, I couldn't stand that in school. How rude is that? Sorry, what makes you so important, and like, oh, I could never handle that, but that's what it is. We need to start realizing that it's important. Someone who doesn't understand what you understand doesn't mean that they don't have wisdom and knowledge within them. You know what I mean? Like someone who's stuck in a rut and mired down further than, like you did all this work, you pulled yourself out, you had your rock bottom, you've ascended, you now you're helping people, and that's what happens. You do that. Now I want to help people more, like we want to help more. You don't knock people down for having that, like you share it, but wherever they're at is localized, it's specific, it's precious to them. It's a precious bit of information that they have based off of, even if it's the same situation, even if it's the same, tough parents or something, growing up, whatever, you had a rough home life or something, you know what I mean? It's the same situation. There's billions of us all going through it, right? And does it make any other ones more valid than the other? Does it make, and it's when we come together and when we talk about stuff like that, that's when we heal. Talking is healing. You got something to say. I just said the guy on the shoulder, right? The socket crying on somebody's shoulder. That's the greatest listener, the greatest healer, right? Because they just healed all of your issues that they didn't even know you had. Because you did it. Because you told them about it. Because you got it off your chest. So people who say, oh, yes, we don't want to complain all the time. Sure, I get that. That causes a complaining energy, and that we don't want to do that. But there comes a time when you want to get something off your chest. And it should be okay to do so. No one should be getting demonized for speaking words. They're just words, right? Like I say, we're all these big, huge, tough Americans, right? But you can't even say words. You can't talk about a radical idea. It's not a radical idea. Literally everything on this planet is spiritual. We were born from spirit. Talking about spirituality is a completely normal thing, and we really need to stop, and we really need to start recognizing that. Like, I'm sick of the whole community, like the knocking the communities down here, or like saying this, saying, you can't say this, you can't say that, or not the communities. What am I trying? Like, I don't know, the system. It's like they target, and then these people, and like they're shutting down Twitters and whatever's going on. I don't know all that crap, but whatever's going on, it's annoying. Because all we're doing is talking. It's it's like seeing the fact checker thing on Facebook. It's like, the hell? Facebook has a fact checker? So Facebook is analyzing the scientific information that was in that post and then telling me that it's wrong. So Facebook has a group of scientists, a group of know everythingers that can because I saw one video, it was from a nurse. It was like from a nurse. Like, it's from a nurse. Did I say it's from a nurse? Like, she's literally explaining it. Like, and then it was like, fact check wrong. Oh, yeah, right, because, right, because Facebook knew more than the actual nurse knew, And that's what it is. We need to talk. We need to start talking. Talking is healing. Start talking to people, your friends, your family, even if they see you as a crazy person, right? So we're still really early, even though it feels like I've been waiting my whole life, and multiple lives before this one. I'm sure of it. And that's the point. So, like I've said, you take yourself out of it. What does it all mean? Right? We're all doing it over and over and over again. We all in the same boat. Like, what I'm saying isn't stuff that nobody else knows. It's what we all know. It's why I've always done well, like, one-on-ones. Like, when I can talk people one-on-one, dude, I'll blow your minds. Because it's all because it's true, right? Like, nobody's minds gets blown by like something that's not true. It's because it's like it's like our history. It's like, what is it? George Washington, right? He wrote about the Illuminati, But nowadays, I was just talking with a buddy, the other day, it's like, he literally wrote the term Illuminati. Like, George Washington, he wrote it. It's in it's in his notes. Like, it's real, But then, there's people, if you say Illuminati, and they go, oh, you're a conspiracy guy? Oh, it's like, no, it's not a conspiracy. Like, it's been being written for hundreds of years. Like, I don't know, But then I feel like I go out through life and, people think I'm crazy. And it's like, when the whole world thinks you're crazy, What is that? That's that saying, to be the one crazy person in a world where that's crazy, you're not the crazy one, or what does that mean? When everyone who's crazy calls you crazy. I love that saying. It's so funny. I love irony, and oh my gosh, the sarcasm. It's too funny. But okay, guys, I don't even know. Yeah, I still have those 4 messages. The request is missing a valid API key, which I don't know why, because I thought it had one when we started this whole live. So it's really funny. It's still going, right? But it's missing a valid key. Well, I just create... Oh, there's another big message I got to figure out that one says. Let's see if I got anything else here. Oh, so, yes. So, okay. So in grounding the new earth and what's coming, it's going to be very important. Bright white light. He's saying to ground within yourself and in your home and in your body, just pure white. And he's saying white because of the intensity. White's going to be purifying. And it's going to be okay. Let me just say what he's saying. It's not gold because gold has color in it. So there's going to be more with gold. And again, he's saying if that's what you want to do, everyone's different. But he's saying with anytime there's an influx of a large amount of energy, like we just had with the Lion's Gate, you want to use a white light, excuse me, to just, activate within yourself, because it's the purest, most general, there's no coloration really, and it'll help keep things purified. He mentioned the sacred violet fire. You can do that, but a lot of times when working with energies, you have to know what the effects are going to be, and of course you want to work with all of them at some point, gradually more and more. But what happens typically with, or would happen in this case with the violet fire, is with an influx of a large amount of energy, and then you violet fire things, everything that needs to be healed is going to come up, because the violet fire, really goes into those lower aspects and brings them up. So if you're ready for that, you can use the violet fire, but everything that happens with these portals and these openings and these gateways and everything it's energy, and you're going to learn how to use it. You're going to learn what to do with it, where to send it, and how to ground it within yourself and what it's telling you and what it means. But with heightened, sensitivity, white is good. Gold is good because gold will purify too. But again, in the purification process, there's a detoxification, and so things can come up. So you could end up dealing with more energy than you might want, and that's what he's referring to. So when there's already enough energy coming in at you, he recommends just the pure white light to help kind of center point it all. And you can think clear, like a prism, like you could do like all colors or whatever, like you could do clear. But you want to keep it clear in that sense, so that it will overlay properly and go into your body in the proper way that it needs. And then once it's grounded and it's stabilized, and you can feel that white and you can see that white within you, then you can start to work with that energy and use it for like violet fire or gold or whatever other colors, wherever you're trying to go, whatever you're trying to do. But that's the importance of the white. It's just a closest to clear, because what is white? White is all the colors too, right? So use white when there's any influx. Purity, quiet. He's giving me just a sense of silence and just peacefulness. When all the chaos is going, be in the eye of the storm. Because it's going to happen. It's been happening in our whole lives. Him included, right? That's what he means. He said us, all of us. Like every one of us that's ever human, become a human, And that's what we are here to impart upon you, is better and more helpful ways of sustaining life on Earth while you are there in a physical vessel. This is why we're always saying to shift your focus from what doesn't make you feel happy into what does make you feel happy, in every little way, in every moment of your life, and don't feel guilty for doing so. Right? Your wants and desires, which I've said before, is exactly what you're here to want. For a reason. There's a reason why you want to do what you want to do, and it's not what the guy down the street wants to do. There's a reason why you desire the things you do. And then even if it's the same thing, like you both want to go fishing, it's still going to be different and unique from your own perspectives, right? Because you're going to be at different skill levels. You're going to learn something different. You're going to be, and this is what is meant by programs. Don't look at something and already assume that you already know everything there is to know about it, right? And that doesn't mean that you don't want to learn what something is, but even in the sense of like a tree, which you all see every day consistently, you all know what a tree is, but do you really know what a tree is? Do you know that it has a voice? Do you know that it has a purpose. It has it has feelings. It has, like when you rip the bark off of it, sure, no, it might not, be the same as like a human ripping, like skin off or something, but it has skin, and it has, underskin, and it has blood flow that's within its roots. It has, it might not have the same nerve endings, right, as a human, but what is it really? So the need for programs is almost completely unnecessary, because you don't need to know how the whole system is going to work when it's like he's giving me like the apple tree. You just put the seed down and you water it and it grows on its own. It's being adaptable to life instead of being rigid and controlling, because the rigid and controlling is what's going to be your downfall. Like Bruce Lee said, be water. You pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You pour it onto the pitcher, it becomes the pitcher. Be fluid in life. And it's okay to understand things, but the overly bearing, like, incessant desire to like know everything and how everything, like there's a difference between knowing it and saying, oh, that's how that works, cool, and being, this is the only way that it works because it's the only thing we've found so far. Well, that's not evolution. Where's the fun in that? Doesn't everybody like an adventure, right? I mean, there's so many reasons, so many layers, so many, and at the end of the day, does it matter if you know? Are you still going to have food in your belly and your friends, your family at home? Are you still going to have, are you still going to survive? It's great to learn things and to expand our knowledge and technology and all this stuff, right? But do you really need it? Do we really need it? It's like we have the floor vacuums, the automatic, sensor, the floor robot vacuum the floor things, and they're great. They're totally cool. Again, I'm not knocking it. I think it's a great technology, but did we really need it? No, we don't really need it, right? But there's an entire division there of people who like wanted to, probably engineers, and they wanted to create something, and then they wanted to, make a good profit. I'm sure they deserve to, they're putting their time and effort into stuff, and so there's a lot more like things that go into, like, I got a pen all over me, go into it, and but did we really need it? So there's a lot of stress that we create, so during that whole thing where, you got to prototype it, you got to make sure it's safe for public, make sure you got a working product. There's a lot of, stress and energy that can go into stuff, or are we just stepping back and being like, hey, it is what it is, and being fluid like water and just moving to something else, like, oh, you know what, this doesn't work for me anymore, so I'm going to move to something else, and then, well, that's not always that easy, because of careers and industries, and and so you want to maintain the life that you have, or make it better. So it's really interesting though, that we try and like put it all and analyze it into like a mathematical formula and equation, and then we say, well, if we do this all the time, it's like the formulas, like the master class and the whatever, which are great. I love them. They're cool, but some, like, or not even a master class, but people who say like tried and true method, just do this every time and it'll work every time, and it's just like, but that's not life. Like, life changes constantly every day. The only constant in life is change, right? So yeah, it might work. Okay, cool, but if it doesn't, you should not be thinking that it's the end of the world, right? And that just shows our lack of adaptability. Is many people, we get in like a job or a career, and that's our vocation. If anything happened to that, do we have something else to fall back on? Do you have? And the reality is, yes, you do. You always do. There's always something. Like, you're gonna survive, right? Like, you're still here right now, right? Everything that you could have ever gone through, and we're still here. So it's it's the control, it's the expectations, it's the needing things to be a certain way, versus just flowing like water through life, and not worrying too much about it. But that being said, unless we're all kind of, you know, doing that and living that way, you know, it's not really going to be real, and it's not going to be here. You know, that's why I say, if we're all looking for the world, like, I always wave. You see how I do this? It's so funny. I always do it. Always do it. And, you know, it's like we need all of us to do it so that we have the infrastructure. You know, like I say, like, why is it all crazy? Well, have you seen people? Like, have you seen, you know, and you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's time to stop idolizing people. It's time, or, you know what I mean? Like, we all just need to, like, be real again. You know, like, you know, like, I don't know. It's too much ego. It's too much, you know, it's like, you know, like you're applying for a job, right? And you want to tell them all the good things about you. You don't want to say, yeah, I used to party when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to say that and this. But at the same time, it's like, so you can't talk about it, but there's even though there's an underlying, like, understanding, like, oh yeah, I did that too, you know, when I was a kid. Like, a lot of people did it, you know, like, a lot of people, whatever, and a lot of people didn't. That's fine. You know, but we all should know, like I say, we're all like these big, tough Americans, and we can't talk about anything. You know what I mean? Like, without somebody getting butthurt, you know, or whatever. It's like, we really need to step up and be who we really are, who we want to be. You know, it's like I say about the MAGA, you know, like make America great again. Oh, I always thought it was the greatest country. Like, that's what everybody keeps saying. So when did that change, and who agreed to it? And, you know, it's interesting, because if you ask any American, they're all going to say America, America. But then if you ask them, okay, so when did you stop having faith in America? These going to say, I always had faith in America. It's the greatest country in the world. Okay, so then who's saying it's not? And who are we agreeing with? It's just the way people think. It's just funny, you know, sometimes. And again, I don't care. I don't care if it is. I don't care if it isn't. What I care about is it a good one? You know, you don't have to be the number one in the rankings in order to be a decent country. Like, and what rankings are we talking about? Decency ranking? Do we have embodying a body of people that oversees this? You know, the decent people, you know, the decent chairman board, the board of decent people, the round table of decency. You know, no, we don't have that. I mean, we have people out there that are, hopefully we'll have one. I'd like to be on it. If any of you guys know of one, send me the link. I'd love to hop in and chat. You know, but what's my point? You know, it's just us. It comes down to us. It comes down to us, you know, being solution oriented. I mean, that's it. I guess that's all I have to say for today, and keep going. See what messages. All right. Yeah, guys. Much love. I guess that's it. I can just keep going on. Let me see Melchizedek. The coming of it. Yeah. So the coming of age is apparent because it's already been being talked about and being seen by everyone. Everyone sees it on the horizon, but people don't recognize it, and they don't understand it, and they don't know what it means and where it's coming, or, you know, to varying degrees. And that's why we need it. Talking is going to start happening. It's just going to start happening. We're all going to start talking. There's going to be a lot less importance put on you know, the mainstream, and a lot more into the independent. But we need to support each other. You know, I need more likes on this page than CNN does. You know, we got to start sharing this. You know, like, CNN ain't helping. You know, like all the power. It's like, you know, like how we got infrastructure, or water problem, water drought, or poverty. It's like we just spent billions of dollars sending spaceships and satellites and rockets up into space. We could take some of that and fix this Earth. We don't need to leave this Earth at all. We don't need to go to Mars. Like, who, you know, I mean, it's totally interesting. Don't get me wrong. Go if you want to go. But I'd rather very much just fix this one. This one's great. It's beautiful. You know, it ain't the Earth's problem is the people that are running it. that are on it, that are, and that's why I say there's so many more good people out in the world. I've said this in videos, 9 times out of 10, if you're shopping and you ask somebody to hold something while because you're all fumbling, they're going to help. They're going to say, yeah, I'll hold it for a second. I got you. Even if it's 8 out of 10, there's 80% people in the world that are good people. There's way more good people. But we see something on the news, and we see one tragedy happen on the news, and now it's all over the world. Like, I saw that one, you see it once, and then now everyone, everywhere, the whole world, now it's everywhere. We're all going to die. It's like, no, it's probably not what's going to happen at all. We're still here, still been here. We made it through the plague. We made it through the whooping cough, all without socks on our faces, we're still here. But, anyways, that clearly say on the box does not say. You know what I mean? And I find that funny, because I'm always talking about like this, this common sense, this program. You take, your minds, look at what you're thinking, look at what you, and to think of that, I mean, it's hilarious. It's like seeing people yell at other people who aren't wearing masks. It's like, well, if you got yours on, why are you yelling at someone else? Clearly, you don't believe that it's protecting you. So I don't know what to tell you, but you got issues in your own head that you got to figure out. It's not my problem, So it's really funny when it comes to that stuff. Put this on, even though it says does not work. Put it on, and then I'm being outed because I'm the one who's talking about it, so I'm the one who's crazy. And like I said, when you're considered crazy by everyone else who's crazy, you're doing right, that's funny, and again, I'm not trying to say put it on. You want to wear it, put it on, right? But don't force me to do it, especially when it doesn't work. So but that's the world we live in, right? So what do we need? How do we fix that? Well, it's you and me. It's you and me coming together. It's us talking, right? It's us talking and not demonizing each other. It's me explaining it. Like, I don't even have to talk. It says on the box, does not work. Does not protect from COVID-19. See that? I'm not even saying a word. Hold it up again. I don't even need to talk. I mean, it's, and then, like, was it Bill Gates making vaccines? Didn't he make Microsoft? But he knows scientists. Oh, yeah, that's great. I know scientists, too. What? I ain't taking no friggin' advice from motherfucking Bill Gates. Uh-oh. Dang it. I made this whole video. And I let one slip. All right, I'm getting off. I'm just going to keep letting it go. I mean, and again, and listen, if he came back and was like, yo, here's my credentials, and he was like, boom, 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 I'd be like, great. All right, cool. Listen, I didn't know that. New information. I got to revise my understanding, right? That's what we do. And you do that when you talk to people. You don't need to, right? It's not, life isn't black and white. It's gray, right? So, okay. I think I'm done. Love you guys. I don't even know if anybody's still here. It just still says, it all froze. Everything freezes up once that thing comes. So, if you're still here, thanks for staying. So, spread the love, spread the light. That's what we need to do. Spread this video. Like, I'm at that point. Like, I just want, like, share all my videos everywhere. I don't care. Like, everybody needs to hear what I have to say, whether they want to or not. And I think even more so, I need to say it because, pulling my hair out over here. What's going on with the world? But, and that's the point. We all are there, so we need to start talking to each other, with each other, and figure this out, because I know you want to help. I want to help. If we don't agree on something, that's fine. But I'm not, we're not going to solve it by, going on a rampage, Like I've said that all the time about, dark ones. Like, they always, they just don't get it, as long as they keep needing us to survive, they're never going to get anywhere. They're just going to be dependent upon another race of beings for their own survival, So whether they're controlling them or not, they're never going to get anywhere, Like, there's so much more fun that we could be having. There's so much more. And then there's that reality too. Like all the technology, it's already out there. It's already here. Like we already, we already got all that stuff. We already got a lot of stuff, So we got to start talking. Really, I think that's just where it lies. Because that's where we're at. Coming age, right? The veils are going to drop, and then we're going to start talking about stuff. We're going to start, because people are going to start seeing it and get to the point that many of us have been at for many incarnations, where it's like, okay, so, Groundhog's Day, right? Groundhog's Day, guys. Start saying that. Coin that. Does it feel like Groundhog's Day in the world to you? Yeah. Okay. So what do? We got to go find us a groundhog and, Punxsutawney Phil. Right? Okay, guys. I think you get the drift. So I love you guys. And best of luck out there. And I'll see you guys next time. So, namaste. Thanks for coming.